we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, we are live. It is 4 minutes after 7:00 Tuesday evening, East Coast time. I'm Dave Logan, Boogie with the Bull, Tuesday Night Live. So far with us, Jen, the homeschooling mom, Randy Rhodes, the genealogist, to everybody on Facebook, especially those in the southern states. And a lot of other people were invited, and they will either show up or they won't. I hope they do. And we'll go from there. If not, it would just be the three of us, because I'm sure two of us came here prepared with a lot of stuff to talk about. Well, I just came here prepared to be the moderator and the dashing young host.
That's awesome.
That'd be competitive there. You got competition there with the dog behind you.
Okay, so I'm going to take my two-headed Trump coin and say, Jen, call it in the air.
Heads I win, tails you lose.
Heads you won, Jen.
Thank you.
You go first.
Sure, I'd love to. I just wanted to talk about the importance of not just activism, but mobilization. Once you start this activism, what do you do with it? And who do you get to go along with you? And where are you supposed to go with what you're trying to fight for? So I wanted to talk about that and show that in the memes that I post in the groups, I never go in by myself. I feel like I'm taking a few thousand people with me. When I put those hashtags at the top of the meme, it's at least a group of 1,000 people. So everything that I am promoting or fighting for or hoping for or trying to bring awareness to has a hashtag. And the one I just posted before I got on here late, pardon me, Dave, was about treason, because I wanted to talk about how when a country invades another country, that is an act of war. However, if the country that got invaded, and if the president didn't do anything about it or laughs when people are asking him about it, as our person in the White House does right now, that is an act of treason. That is ridiculous. And I'm thinking, how do we stop this guy? Who can arrest him? We're beyond, what is it, impeachment? Impeachment only means put on trial. And I think we're past that. That ship has sailed. Now we're into arrest, because this is ridiculous. And he's doing nothing to stop it, but instead aiding and abetting our enemies. And that is what happened to Israel. They got all the funds. Palestine got all the funds they needed to attack Israel. And those are our allies. Thank God somebody in the House gave money, sent money over to billion to Israel. That was good. But we're not done. We're not finished. And we need to make that desert glass.
We need to stop sending money to Ukraine right now.
Yeah.
And send that money to Israel to help Israel. But I don't Israel is not off the hook with me. And I know I'm the token Jew in most of the groups that I'm in. But I have said, like I said last night on Jerry's broadcast, that Israel was created by giving this country gave this corner, this country gave this corner, and two other countries said, take these corners, and then everybody got together where Jerusalem was and said, we're all going to share this because everybody has a claim on Jerusalem. And that seemed to be the way it was until the 7-Day War, when Israel won back the Gaza Strip, and now everybody wants it back. And I think that Israel is not doing enough to negotiate with Palestine to render a mutual homeland for everybody. I think they're just saying, no, this is ours. We lost it in a war. We got it back in a war, and we're just not giving it up because that's the way war goes. Mr. Rhodes?
I spoke to someone else earlier today, and unless he comes on your show, I'm not going to mention any names, but
no, you can mention it. I sent him a link.
He and I had a conversation. I think has to right now stay between him and me. But this individual seems to side a little bit with Hamas in the sense of the reasons why they did what they did. I hate to say, but I haven't read my Bible in a while. And I'll tell you what, I am going to start digging into it because I know so many people are saying, hey, we're in the end times, or Revelation, God's wrath is coming down, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of like blew it off, for a past year or so. But you know what? We're on a path that is irrevocable if we get involved with Israel or Ukraine. But this individual seems to think that, Hamas is only defending themselves and wanting to get back the land that was supposed to be theirs. My response back was this, and again, forgive me, folks, if you memorize your Bible, you're gonna put me to shame. But if I'm not mistaken, back in the very, 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 very beginning of life itself, God said, Abraham, whoever it was, the land before you is yours. I'm giving it to you. Go forth and take it. Kill everyone that's there, including the animals. Don't leave anything alive. Take the land. It's yours. I give it to you. So Israel goes in. God's with them. They fight this horrible war. They kill off a lot of people, but they didn't kill every single one or the animals like they were told to. And of course, eventually they got punished by God and so forth and so forth. But the land, if I'm correct, was originally given to them by God. And that's why Israel is saying the land is ours. God gave this land to ours. It wasn't until Europeans got involved that said, no, we want this land. They went in, they colonized the land, and then eventually shit happened, politics happened. They said, okay, Israel, we're going to allow you to take this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece, this piece to make your Israel. That's your land. But then shit happens. They have Palestinians, the Hamas, Hezbollah, whatever. Syria, the 6-day war happened. And they went in and they fought and they kicked ass and they kept the land that they conquered through combat, which you can do. You go into war, you win, you keep what's yours, okay? That's what he did. But politics gets involved. The United States said, well, if you want a piece of so-and-so and so-and-so, you got to give up this piece of land, that piece of land, the Gaza Strip, blah, 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 to make peace. So Israel did. And then eventually Israel said, you know what, we want our land back. And that's what they're doing with building these new neighbors, these settlements and so forth. So you got Hamas. Hamas said, you know what, we're tired of this bullshit. We're living like we're prisoners in a camp, and we want to be an independent nation, okay? So what do? They, along with Iran, because that's where the damn shit came from. And
Randy,
I think
Randy, hold on just for a second. Jerry, I sent the link to Jerry Michaels instead of Gerard K. Michaels. I sent the link into the group chat to Gerard K. Michaels, so you should have it there. I apologize profusely. I will fire the executive producer as soon as the broadcast ends.
Please don't,
okay.
because you might not come back.
So you have our ASO administration freed up $8 billion along with 100 freaking terrorists to get back 5 Americans who probably should have never been there, okay? But we did that. And we knew damn well they were going to turn around and make use of that money to give to terrorists, which they did because we know, because where the hell the Hamas come up with 5,000 plus missiles, all the hyper gliders, the remote control drones, and all the weapons, the vehicles, the motorcycles. And we also should be thinking that Israel themselves might have a treasonous person involved, because how in the hell did Hamas come across 50 different places into Israel with all their shit? And how did the Iron Dome get shut down, allowing a number of the missiles to come through and make their targets? Okay, so we have all that. Israel's defending themselves. Israel, you know what? Screw you, Hamas. We're going to level your city and put you back into caveman time. And I tell you what, I stand behind Israel 100%. Okay,
Hi, Cherry.
we need to find out who our administration is treasonous, and Israel needs to do the same thing, and they need to be hung or shot. And that's my point.
All right. We're kind of going over Israel, Jerry. I apologize. I sent the link to your other account by mistake, and then I invited that account, your other account, to the group chat by mistake. But you got to turn your mic on if you want us to hear it.
I don't care, Dave. It's fine. Everything's beautiful. You don't have to fire anybody.
I'm not going to fire anybody.
Yeah. I got a lag here.
It's not
Okay,
too
because
bad.
I didn't even know you had an executive producer, and I'm wondering why I don't, because I'm thinking shows would be better. But and Jen would be painting her house 3 different colors all night long. I don't know.
I was going to hire Jen Woodruff as our executive producer and have her paint the studios because I saw the job that
I'm sure
she
the pay
did.
is very good.
Yeah. Wow.
No, it's not. It really isn't good at all.
The house that was. I never saw Jesse cut the grass so fast. The man was coming at 11. It's 10:30 in the morning. Jesse's like jogging up and down the backyard with the lawnmower. It was crazy, but it was awesome. Everything came together.
As far as Hamas goes, we were talking about this last night. Kill them. Kill every last one of them. I don't care about the women and children because they're in on it too. Okay, I see a lot of Palestinians in this country who say they don't like, they're not part of Hamas, but they're sure as hell cheering this crap on. Throw them out of the country. I mean, it is come time. All right, this is going to be very dangerous for a long time. And the more of them we kill, the less dangerous it gets. And it's that damn simple. And unfortunately, with all that said, we do not have the president of the United States to do any of that. He will backtrack and everything else. He'd rather send money over to where he's laundering it and becoming richer and now out of trouble. Well, sort of. And then to actually, this is almost like a World War II moment where a country as tiny as Israel literally has every other country in the Mideast and Africa probably against them. Okay, and it is time for, if you want to fight a war that isn't for our freedom, this is the type of war we need to fight for someone else's freedom. Because in reality, they are the only ally we have over there, and literally no other country over there has given the world nothing. Wow. And Israel has given the world quite a bit. And they don't deserve this. It's been going on for too long. Our country is at fault in some of it, obviously giving Iran money to finance all this. And the Democrats talking trash about Israel and so on and so forth. Even a squad member, Jamal something, came out against the squad and anybody else backing terrorism. That's how bad this is. And here we sit. We can't do a damn thing. Because it's in the politicians' hands, and we do not have strength of character in Washington, D.C.
I mean, I know this is what the politicians wanted. They wanted to give Iran their money back, knowing that Iran would do this.
Give them money back. Why? What do you mean?
Part of the $6 billion is part of the money that we've been holding, I guess, hostage in this country going back to when go back to after we took the hostages back. And supposedly what I heard was the initial was to give them $6 billion of their own money back to help with humanitarian aid, which they claimed they.
Oh, that was such. We knew.
Right.
We
I
knew.
mean, we knew that's not what it was, because I'm sure if they can raise trillions of dollars to fund all kinds of terrorist states, they don't need $6 billion of the money that we're holding here hostage to do anything over there.
Right. And just as a hint, Puddin' Brains did it on 9/11. I was like, are you serious? Do we need a bigger slap in the face? It was so obvious. We know what's going on. But my biggest point tonight is we have to find out where to go. Where do we do such a thing? Because it's one thing to be an activist, but it's another thing to mobilize and get out there and get things going. And when a country is invaded, that is an act of war. But if the president, dictator, whoever is in charge does nothing, that is an act of treason. So what we have to do is go to, I don't think it's a town hall, because that's where people go to just show up and throw up. It's what it seems like. They just complain and whine and fight, and they get mad and throw papers, and nothing gets done. But if you can go to the right place and have the right people, such as the Marine Corps, and say he needs to be arrested, he's treasonous. How do we arrest this guy? I mean, we can't do it, but they can. But obviously, we have to talk to some of the higher ups. I don't know. Everyone knows this, but no one's doing anything. So I just like to, be like the mosquito in a sleeping bag. If you think you're not effective and you're only one, don't say that, because you've never been camping with a mosquito, because it's terrible. So just kind of be the constant itch and bug that says, hey, do something. We can't impeach the guy. What's that going to do? Put him on trial? I can't even stand to hear him talk. He needs to be arrested. This is terrible. He's betraying an entire nation and our allies.
A lot of them don't like him. Don't want anything to do with him. But Jerry, didn't you say that our military can't just go in and take him out? That would be a coup. Somebody said it on one of the broadcasts. They just can't, because I had said I thought there was one general in the Marines or in the Army, John Dunsford, who makes the decision, and he can do it anytime. And from what I understand, it may have been true at one time, but it's not true anymore.
No, it's called a coup. You can't just walk in with the military and take over. It's not how it works. There has to be a
tribunal.
There has to be a legal route to do it. I mean, you can't. If the military just walks into the Oval Office, says you're under arrest for treason, that's a coup. Okay. Now, I'm not sure it would be horrible having a coup. Frankly, I'm not. I don't know. They usually don't turn out well. I'll just say that. So, people get in power and they don't want to let it go, and that's the problem with coups. Very few coups end well, but we have a government that is completely against the people, and more to the point, don't care about what the people think. It's that simple, and unfortunately, we're living through these times that we thought we never would, and it's despicable. It is despicable. I don't know the answer. I wish I did. But the oath of office for the military does not include fighting Americans. They can only do that through a legal process. There's no oath. Nothing in the oath says that, you can take over the government if you feel that they're, treasonous.
Treason. Right.
Nothing in there like that.
Okay.
It's just we'll fight people, fight our enemies, foreign and domestic. That's in there, and I'm going to tell you something. The whole world is going to explode at some point. I don't care what anybody says because it's gone too far. And that part of the war will come here. There may or may not, I don't know, be fighting in the streets. There'll be, all kinds of bad crap happening here, and up to and including to control the population in martial law, where they make it legal to arrest you for anything and then throw away the key. No lawyers, no courts, no nothing. You're just in jail, like we see with
J6.
the January 6 people. Yep. And also, they can shoot you in martial law. Okay, they can shoot you.
That's crazy.
I don't. That's why I've been telling people this for years. You do not want to wish for this kind of thing. You don't, because martial law. It looks great on paper, but look at every war we've ever had. We've had on our side, we've had war criminals who have done some pretty disparaging things that were on our side. Okay, it's not just the other side, and they'll be doing those things to. I know me pretty well, and I'm not gonna put up with that crap. So, and I'm one guy, so kill me will be nothing. I'll just end up on a list. And I think there's quite a few other Americans that feel the same. And we talk about the Revolutionary War and in the Civil War. We beat them. Well, I got news for you. They had governments in place. They had lines of communication in place. They had everything in place before the war started. And if the South would have got their head out of their ass, they may have won. But they didn't, sadly. And some of the stuff they were saying and doing, other than slavery, obviously, but they were right. Okay? They were right. And because the North won, they wrote the history, and here we are. Abraham Lincoln had something to do with what we have today in this country, which he wanted a strong central government, and we have an overwhelming central government now. It just took years to build, where they can take your rights away in a New York second, and nobody cares.
Wow. Brandy, how did you feel about that statement? Well, no, it wasn't the Revolutionary War. He was talking about the South. I'm like in the Civil War times, and you've got that flag above your head. Who do you think won the Civil War? Now I'm like way past 1776. Who do you think, Randy?
I mean, it's obviously the North won the war, but it's not over. And now I'll watch what I'm saying because I've been warned before. But for some reason, my genealogy business, I'll call it, my hobby, my interest, my love, has turned more towards the South. Almost all my clients now are members of the SCV, the SIA, the CSA2, and on and on. And they love me. They gave me the rank of a colonel. They also have given me the position of being the genealogist for the Northeast Command and the SIA and the North and South Carolina under Lieutenant General Michael Koskowski. So I feel very honored with that. It gives me the privilege to see some of the things going on in the background because I'm privy to all the various groups and chat rooms they have. And, although the war itself was lost to the North, the one thing the North didn't win is the hearts of the people in the South. They are God, country, and family, period. And they will do anything to protect those three things. They are They want nothing to do with the 7% that the Biden administration keeps pushing down our throat. They don't believe in that kind of thing. They are prepared to defend themselves. They are prepared to go to war if necessary. Now, what they have done, though, is they have various organizations who are responsible for doing different things. The SIA is the political arm. The political arm. Their task is to seek out universities or politicians or others who are totally against the South and want to destroy it and to destroy the monuments and the statues and so forth. And they go out there with boots on the ground to peacefully rally those individuals to door knock the neighborhoods to pass out pamphlets of information indicating what the South is really all about and so forth, to try and convince them that we are not the enemy. But they are prepared to support those politicians and so forth who do support the South through door knocking, through campaigning, through rallies to help raise funds to keep them in office, and at the same time, kick out the ones who aren't, for the South. And then they have the other arms, which are the military aspects of the South, and they're the ones who are prepping, they're training, they're getting in supplies, and they are ready. They're just waiting for the commander to, their commander to say, "Time is up. Let's do it." I did ask them, since I am your historian and genealogist, and I'm in a northern state, what happens to me? And they said, "Don't worry, Randy. When the time comes, we'll come get you and your wife." So that makes me feel good. But they haven't won the heart and soul of the Southern people from the Civil War. They haven't.
Wow, that was a good. No, I was really interested in the demeanor and the attitudes between the winners and the losers in these wars. And I can't stand what's going on in the Middle East because it was such a hit to Israel that Hamas did. I mean, it was so blatantly obvious when they took the women and the children. That is like a direct hit to the future. They're like, you're not going to produce more. You're not going to grow up and be a grown up Israeli. That's what they were doing when they were annihilating women and children. It's just maybe because I have such a heart for those two, because that's like my life. But still, that was bad. I can't imagine there ever being a relationship between Palestine and Israel. And what is really irritating is I don't think Israel owes them a darn cent. Do you know Israel is so small? You can fit it in the state of Michigan like 3 times. That is how small it is. I think that Hamas is just jealous of them. What the heck? I mean, to have such a force, and of course, the Iron Dome isn't going to stop them. They came in on stupid gliders like idiots. They came in underneath radar purposely. Well, that's a sneak attack at night, but it's gone too far, especially this hit against women and children. I mean, they're not even fighting anymore. They're just destroying the future. It's sick. They're kind of doing what God told the Israelites to do to them.
Well, it's like Stephen Tolliver said on Jerry's show last night that, the belief of the Muslim is to destroy the future. So by killing the children, killing the wives, the women, you won't have a future for them to come back and seek revenge. Wow. That's what they're doing. Right now they have 800 hostages, I believe, or maybe 180. I know it's a large number, but the only way I see peace coming, and it's not going to happen, is Hamas is going to say, "Okay, you want your 180 whatever people they have right now back. We want like 5,000 of our friends who are in your prisons and so forth, and we want this land, and then we'll give you back your citizens." I don't see Israel doing that. I do see the United States government pushing them to accept the deal if that comes to it, because that's what we do. Now we negotiate with terrorists, which we never did before. Um,
Mm.
but I agree with what Israel's doing. They are pushing, they are bombing Hamas back into the caveman time, and they will continue to do that until they don't have the ability to ever, cause conflict again. And I think Israel is ready to accept that if the hostages get killed in the process, that they're willing to accept that as a reasonable loss.
Jerry,
Well, I
comments?
would like to reiterate something I was saying before. With the South first, um, the problem was their government. They had a weak government who couldn't agree on anything, and that's where wars are won and lost with the government. Because we had great generals, we had men. I mean, we had men that wanted to fight, and there was no doubt of that. They had heart and all that, which is what you need a lot of. And but we had a government that sucked and would constantly be bickering with each other. And we had a president didn't even want to be the president. Um, he felt that it was his duty, so he accepted it. But he didn't want to be the president, so that was a problem. But as far as the Hamas souls, let me tell you something. Whoever said it that we're not, I think it was Randy. We're going to negotiate and then try to force them to take a deal and all this garbage. Yeah, he's absolutely right about that because apparently that's what we've been doing for you. We did that back in the '70s with the Middle East. Okay, before Anwar Sadat was dead. Okay, and I was a kid. I just know that. Thing is, it just opens the door for more. If you truly want this to stop, you have to wage full and total war on them until they are too terrified to ever do it again. And it will take time. And the reason it will take time is very simple. We haven't done it. Okay. And we've wasted years and years and years trying to negotiate with people who are going to continue to do this. Presidents have raised their hands above their head in victory with negotiating this and negotiating peace and then blah blah blah. But did we really ever have it when all they were doing was being patient enough to attack on another day? No.
Wow.
You want to have a war with somebody, you have a war. You tell the UN first of all, go screw yourself because we're not going to do a damn thing you say. Okay. And then you go and have a war. And I mean total war. Women, children, I don't care anymore. I'm sick of this. And this will just keep continuing until someone with some guts, okay, just says enough. We're not doing this anymore. We're going to bomb you out of existence. The end. Because you let these people take an inch and they will have a yard. Listen, we had 9/11 and a not that many years later. We had them in our damn government. And the reason we had them in our damn government is because we let them in our damn country. And we settled them in certain places to where they could outvote everybody.
Wait, tell John I
Okay?
said hello.
And it's just the beginning.
There we go. I've been asking about his wife.
Mm, that's a good point. I remember in Michigan when you call, you would call human resources for help from the health department, and they would say, please hit 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, 3 for Farsi. And I was like, Farsi?
Mm.
What the heck? They were, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
I know what you mean. And then the next big thing we had, the big explosive time in history after 9/11 was that stupid bombing, the crock pots in the Boston Marathon. They had these crock pots blow up, and who
Right.
set them off? The people from the country we just fought on 9/11. And Barack and Michelle went to the hospital to make sure that the what's I don't know what kind of foreign nationals were okay. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so bad. They are showing us right in front of our faces treason. And there's not a darn thing we can do about it ever. And this latest one is so bad. I just can't believe there's nothing more we can do than talk about it.
Well, with Obama, you could tell by just what he did. The only ones he cared about was the Muslims. Now, he acted like he cared about the illegals by letting them in, but that was just to weaken the country. Okay.
Yeah.
Letting in the Muslims, always, if the winds of politics go in a bad direction, I stand with the Muslims kind of crap. Okay.
He said that, you're right.
Is treasonous thing to say, if you ask me. And he's the president of the United States. It's just like Joe, any of these politicians, they try to act like they care about us, but it seems to me that the only thing they care about is ruining and breaking this country. Because if you break the United States, okay, and the United States has appeased these people and appeased these people and appeased these people to the point where we're at right now, and it will only get worse. It is time for somebody like Trump to get in office and say, we've had enough, start bombing their parliaments with the mother of all bombs so that everything that is remotely close to it will be blown to smithereens. And then say, are you done? If they death to America, you hear from anybody, you do it again to someplace else. Okay. And then you say, are you done? And keep doing it until they say, okay, we're done. And there are, no negotiations. You're done. Good luck rebuilding your country because we ain't going to do it. Let the rest of the world do that stuff. We're done. It has to be, we're done. That's the only way this stops. And then when
That's
they are
good.
done, you tell them, try this again, see what happens. That needs to be our foreign policy in the Middle East. Oh, and by the way, if you mess with Israel, we're coming after you again. This time, we're going to drop 2 bombs and ask you if you're done. Each time you say no, we're going to drop 2 more. Okay?
Wow.
And we're going to keep dropping them until you're done. Period. All right? Because the world doesn't need this anymore. Okay?
Right.
They don't. They've been fighting thousands of years amongst themselves, and we're sitting here thinking that we're going to beat them. Not the way we fight wars. I mean, Israel's right. They fought a war. They won some ground they had one time had, obviously. And, they're keeping it. That's how it used to be. We don't fight wars like that. We fight wars and we give it back to them. No, it's ours now, including all the, oil and whatever else. We don't care. You should have had your leaders shut the hell up. And you need to take your damn religion and throw it in the garbage. Because I'm going to tell you something I've been saying for years. If you are a moderate Muslim and you believe in that book, you're going to need a new book to be a moderate Muslim. Because that book is a blueprint on how to take over the world. And it tells you all the things that Christians believe are wrong, like lying and that kind of garbage. Okay, is okay as long as you're killing infidels, which is everyone but them.
That's not a Muslim.
Okay.
Wow, good point.
So I don't know. All I can tell you is this: if you want to flush them out in this country, just start investigating the mosques.
Training centers.
Just start
right?
mosques.
Training centers. Right.
Yeah, because they got guns, they got this, because every single terrorist in this country that we have seen, there is a mosque that is right behind him. He's been going to the mosque. He's probably, they talk about radical Muslim, clerics and stuff. he's probably already, radicalized. Now he's sitting in front of this guy who's telling him he's going to go get 73 virgin goats or something. I don't know. And it all starts at the mosque. It does.
That's
So
good.
that's how you get them in this country. But our government and our courts don't allow that because it's unconstitutional, or it's what,
Inhumane.
when your life is at stake, the only thing that's isn't unconstitutional is not fighting for it.
That's
Okay,
good.
and our government, it's constitutional for our government to protect us. That's what it's supposed to do,
Right.
and it doesn't.
Wow, good point.
We are having live chat problems taken care of tomorrow, I hope. So Facebook user, someone is watching in the Boogie with the Bold True Patriot Talk group. They said, hi, Dave, Jerry, Jen. I want to let you know that we are acknowledging you. I'm acknowledging everybody in the live chat on my profile as they come in. So there are people watching. I'm glad to see. Serena Carter is watching. Ranger Dukes is watching. 3 other people. I don't know who they're watching because they didn't tell me, but they're watching. And my buddy Ichabod Palmer is here. And Michael Anthony was here for a little bit in the live chat. And a few others. And thank you for watching. And hopefully tomorrow we will get the live chat problems fixed. And the next time you come on, everybody will know who's watching. William Rayfield is watching also.
Well, he posted something really good this morning. He was saying, why can't we freeze the assets? Why can't we freeze the money because you can't even say it's because the holder of the purse is not in his position yet. But really, who did it? Someone has to have control of the purse, even if McCarthy is not there. Why can't we freeze that? Like, be a taker backer. Who cares? It's not the worst thing they can say about us. Is it we gave something and took it back? Sorry, you bombed our allies.
I
The
wouldn't even say
only
sorry,
allies.
Jen. I would just say tough shit.
Yeah.
You did this,
Yeah.
you get nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Why don't we freeze it? This is so
We take
stupid.
$6 billion of their dollars that we're still holding and send it to Israel.
That would be
Absolutely.
nice. But
You know?
Biden won't do a thing. The Biden. He
No,
wants to be a
Biden-
brand. That's what we'll call him.
Well, look at that. Look at that damn. It's a congresswoman that has the Palestinian flag outside her damn office.
Oh,
That's
God.
bullshit.
The squad.
Rashida
Talib.
Oh,
She's from
Rashida.
Yeah, Rashid Tlaib.
She's from
I'm
Dearborn.
I'm not appropriate when I say her name. Yes.
Oh, that's funny. We call it Dearbornistan. It's really Dearborn, and it's in Michigan. But
Yeah.
wow, I remember going up Woodward Avenue. Oh my gosh, it was like every 20 miles there was a new culture. It was nuts, and it didn't get this bad until Obama. It was in 2008 that this happened. But we would always go up. It was beautiful, Woodward Avenue. It was great, Woodward Avenue, Telegraph, anywhere up there, and you'd go to Dearborn, and it was all owned by Jewish. They were all Jewish up there, like Green,
General
everything.
Motors, Ford.
Right. Yeah, and
all the U.S. car makers were headquartered there at one time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we would buy used because we would never buy a new car. We would always buy it used. So Jesse got his Monte Carlo over there. But wow, it was great. It was great coming. No, it wasn't good till we got to where we were going, because you had to go through, like, okay, you passed the Shrine of the Little Flower, and it was very Catholic. And then you go 20 more miles, 20 more minutes, and then you're in Dearbornistan. You're like, oh my God, there's like raw chickens hanging in the window because they didn't want to, so they could do them properly halal. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And then you go another 20 miles, and all of a sudden you're in like Greenland or something really Jewish. And they wouldn't even, you would have a special walking, like crossover above the freeway so that they didn't have to walk on their, or they didn't have to drive on the Sabbath.
Right.
They could walk to their synagogues. So
Right.
it was really weird. It was just crazy. You start out with a Catholic thing, then you go a few more miles and you see a mosque, and then you go a few more miles and you see the crossovers to go to a synagogue. And it was like, I'm telling you, that was the
Well,
nicest
see
part
what
of town,
you do.
though.
What you do though is when you pass the mosque, you shoot out the windows and the loudspeaker so that they can't have their call to prayer.
Oh,
And
that
you'll
is
become a hero.
miserable.
It is. It's the worst
Oh
thing
my
I've ever
God!
heard in my life.
What would those people do? They'd be running. They'd be running around the cities in an out and out. They'd be crazy.
It was weird. I always
Yeah, I
had
don't
this
care.
snarky.
I don't care. You know, whenever I hear about an earthquake over in the Middle East, I'm actually happy. It almost makes me believe in God. I swear to God. Because it's like, this is what these people deserve. They deserve this kind of stuff every single day. I don't care. It's like the illegals. After you've lived amongst them, you just don't care because you see what they're doing to this country. All right? I don't care about the Muslims. I got no use for the Muslim religion. I got no use for the people who practice it or are obviously getting good at it. Okay? None. Zero. I have no sympathy for these people. And you want to know why? Because if I was standing there, right, with a guy behind me with a big damn knife ready to cut my head off, they'd be cheering it on. So why the hell should I care about them?
Wow, good point.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, guys.
Let's try to get
you
kicked off tonight. How about that?
Do you think that the Hamas will start chopping off heads on live TV?
Again? Oh God,
They're
not.
To do.
They will, and you know what? The sad thing about it is the United States media, regardless of whether or not you're the mainstream media or even our side media, should refuse to cover that on the news. I mean, it's sad that I'm saying it, or they should cover us bombing them while they're doing it.
No, they should put it on there and let people see what these fuckers are. Okay? Let these people see what they will do to your family. Let them see it.
No.
They won't because it's not part of their narrative. But let them see what these people are. That's, and I'm telling you, because I remember 9/11 like it was yesterday, just like everybody else here. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something. I watched that for a day and a half and I couldn't watch it anymore because it was just so sickening. And from that day forward, I didn't know much about the Muslims. I just know one thing, that I hated them with every fiber of my freaking being. And when we elected one to office, I was pissed. I didn't realize just how stupid the people in this country are to vote in a piece of garbage from who is our enemy. But they did. And he proved it every day of his administration. I have any doubts about any Muslim. I just think about the guy I watched jump out of the World Trade Center because he was about to frickin' burn to death. That's all I need. And I'm right back at it. Now, everybody can have their theories on why the buildings and everything, but terrorists crashed planes into that building and killed people. And a guy jumped out from 110 floors or something, not to burn to death.
Right.
That's all I need to remember about that day and my hatred for these frickin' people. And if I was younger, I'd be back in the military again. They just don't want fat old men, apparently. Old hair. With no hair, really. So
That's
I got
funny.
that going for
Whatever.
me, I guess.
Ichabod Crane says that we should keep the $6 billion and finish our border wall and quit worrying about other countries. Screw Ukraine, Israel. We need to worry about our own country. Maybe they're true. Maybe they're right. Maybe he's right. That is what we should do. Just take the dang money that we're holding from all these other terrorist states and use it to secure our country, which I know our current government isn't going to do, but maybe that's what we should do.
Oh, he will with those temporary walls, emergency walls.
He walks back in on January 25th. Maybe that is exactly what he should do.
Well, that's
he's
what
he's already said that what he's going to do when he sits down after the inauguration is he's immediately stopping all the Biden executive orders in effect at the border. Boom, that's done. And then he promises, and I don't know how long it will take to do it, but he promises the largest deportation in the history of this country. And I hope he's capable of doing it, because you listen to Secretary Mayorkas and Ted Cruz in hearings all the time, and Mayorkas can't even tell you what the true numbers are and really what they're doing to stop it. Go ahead, Jerry.
And the sad fact, Dave, is he probably actually knows what the true numbers are. Or at least has an idea. He just can't say it out loud. That's the problem. He probably knows.
He hinted around about, I don't remember what it was, but he hinted around about one number, and Cruz had the right number. And you could see the glaze in Mayorkas's eyes as he was trying to look away, going,
I don't know.
I can't give you that information.
Oh my God, these people. Where do they come from?
You know,
come from places where they're so corrupt and already, and they believe this crap, and they don't care. Whatever the end game for ruining this country is, it ends up ruining the entire world, because whether people like it or not, we are leaders in this world. We have put our own self in that position. We are leaders in this world, and we are not leading. The only thing we're leading is a race to the bottom, I think. And
no, I think we already made that. I think we won that race.
Every time you think you're at the bottom, every time you think you're in the bottom, I'll guarantee you there's further to go.
Oh yeah.
And sadly, what I'm seeing now, and everybody recently telling, there is zero reason for me to believe that it's going to get better.
It's like I think Randy started to say earlier, and Stephen said yesterday, I have to admit, I've never read the Bible in my entire life. Maybe this is a good time to start reading some portions of it. But listening to Stephen last night basically say, 1,000-year war, none of us are going to live through that anyway. No, just a continuous war where, in my brain, I was thinking last night as he was saying that, we talk about in parts of the world, they're knocking on your door, and if you answer it, they kill you, and if you don't answer it, they just shoot through the door and kill you. And I never wanted to believe that we were created by a just and loving God that would let this place just end that way. I mean, I always figured he had a Staples Easy button on his desk, and when he had enough, goes in, sits down with his big cup of coffee, and has his hand on it, and just looks for a reason before 5 o'clock to drop his hand.
Well, me too, Dave. I never wanted to believe a lot of things, but I'll tell you where everything switched. When I listened to a bunch of videos on 9/11 and what happened, or not 9/11, but Benghazi. Now, being in the military, has interest to me simply because we left people there. They knew it was coming, and they did nothing to stop it. And that just, I actually cried about that, because it's like, these guys are up on a roof getting shot at and dying, and they're trying to save a guy they used a cattle prod on, the ambassador, and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama
Stand down. Stand down. Right.
Yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
To me,
Did-
Obama should have been.
fired a general. They fired a general on the airport runway who was going to help them.
Yeah.
He
said
"Screw it, I'm going."
Yeah, he said he was
they
close enough.
fired
I
him on
remember
the
that.
damn-
I remember that. He said he
Yeah.
was close enough. He
Fired
could
on
have
the-
been there within an hour, and he could have averted this entire thing. And I remember, yep, as soon as that press conference ended, from what I understand, they had his butt on a plane back to Washington, D.C.
Oh my gosh. That
that's
was
fact.
that was torturous. That was
And,
horrible.
and this is a terrible thing to say about another human being, but I think that Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama should have gone through the same kind of thing that Ambassador Stevens went through, because if you read those files, there are pages and pages and pages of him begging them, the four guys that got killed with him, the head of his security team, telling them exactly what they needed, telling Clinton exactly what they needed. And she just kept saying, oh, it's not in the budget, or no, you really don't need it. We don't want to upset our Libyan hosts.
Yep. That's
Wow.
fact.
And
Barack was with his boyfriend playing cards.
We should have.
Reggie Love.
We should have, once we got their 5 bodies out of there and got them home, and anybody else that we could have gotten out with us, we should have gone in there. And I said the same thing about Iran when they first took the hostages. We should have turned Libya into a parking lot, planted some nice flowers, and then came home.
Or glass, either way.
Screw the flowers. Put salt down so nothing ever grows there again. Okay, you put salt down. That's what you do, because that kills everything.
Yeah, or put some mines underground.
I don't care.
Put some mines underground.
The only way that the Middle East stops is by us killing every last one of them and crushing, not beating, crushing the Muslim religion. It's that simple.
That's good.
And it's sad to have to believe that growing up in the United States of America, but and understanding that, we were the one country maybe that thought we grew up understanding that we would never have to do stuff like this because we're this country. But you know what? I'm sorry. It's time to get ugly. And I can't go into the military. They won't take me anyway because I'm too damaged to go in. But there's always something I could do. They won't send me to the front, but I can be a clerk. I can do this. I can do that. I can do Good Morning Palestine from the border. But
okay, I have a stupid.
That's good, Dave. I like that.
Go ahead, Jen.
A stupid question.
Those questions are stupid. Just
no, I just think I feel like she's gone, but why she keeps showing up on our televisions?
Right.
I feel like Hillary's days were done, but she keeps coming back. If that's really her, I'm like, wow, you've got a lot of guts. And for the woman who always prided herself and not needing plastic surgery or a facelift because she had this really good makeup artist. Yeah, that ship has sailed too because she needs help with that.
That's Clone 27 and it needs a facelift.
Yeah. Is it her or is it just a body double who needs to... Why is she resurfacing? She has no electability.
Why would anybody want to be her body double?
They didn't want to. It's just
They'll be insulting.
I said to Jerry last night when I watched that, because I watched that clip live when it was whatever program it was on happening, and I'm thinking to myself, they're going to bring her back in some capacity. They're going to run her. But then Jerry said, or Steven said, which is probably true, they're going to screw us all and they're going to put Michael Obama in there who has I tried to politely say it and then I gave up trying to say it. What experience besides being the husband of Barack Obama or the wife of Barack Obama, whatever you want to call them. What experience does Michael Obama have?
He doesn't.
Other
All he
than-
needs is an earpiece. He'll do whatever Obama tells him to. It's crazy. Barack. You know who
I don't think
copies
he really
Barack?
need experience anymore.
Yeah.
Rama, what's his name? I don't know. But he is recorded
Ramalama
as
Ding
saying,
Dang.
yes, that guy.
Yeah.
There's tapes of him talking right after he's plagiarizing word for word what Obama says. When Obama's like, I know, no one knows me, just a skinny guy with a weird name. I'm like, holy crap. Rama says that, and so does. And that was from Barack. And I thought, oh my gosh, this whole administration is about plagiarism. Whatever you learned in history, you're going to hear again because they don't know what else to say. It's crazy. And people they're like, oh, that's the little Trump. I'm like, no, it's not. He's from India. He's not a Trump at all. He's just a good talker.
I guess the
Copycat.
only good thing is that, and it's not a good thing, it's really sad to say this, is that if RFK Jr. does have some kind of throat or voice cancer, I guess eventually when it's done its course and he can't speak anymore, it'll be sad. I mean, it'll be sad to lose your voice. But
well, there's ways of getting around that. My uncle was in World War II, and he got shot in the throat, and he had one of those things put in your throat so you can talk.
Stoma. Yeah.
oh, this thing. Good morning.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds like it's vibrations that allow you to form
Right.
words. That's
Right.
all words are, vibration
Right.
somehow, and it works out into words. But
Yeah.
you know what? I said before the last election, and everybody was talking about, Michael joining up, and I said that would be the only person Trump would have a problem with, simply because, first of all, everybody thinks he's a woman. And secondly, it'd be the first woman this, the first woman, the black woman, the first this. But people in this country love the first. It doesn't matter Obama was a senator for what, 2 years or so, 3, something like that. What the heck? He didn't have
half of the term, I think.
And it showed. Yeah, it showed. His policies sucked. His, the way he handled foreign relations was a joke. But it doesn't matter because, as Jen actually just said, they just keep repeating the same crap because they got nothing else. And people forget, and they know people forget. So, blah, 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 here we are.
Isn't the truth that a lot of the money behind Obama came from George Senior Bush?
Possibly.
I don't really remember.
And Soros.
And supposedly he was in with he was in with them. I don't know how it worked because I have trouble with the people who repeatedly tell me it can't verify it, but there seems to be some belief that somewhere within the pecking order of the Bush campaign, the Bush political wing, he was in there because if you listened at the time, Barbara Bush hated him, didn't want anything to do with him, couldn't stand it. But,
well, yeah, there was a thing with that. I remember something in the paper, in the news about Barbara Bush said a lot of things about him that were, I guess, less than complimentary. I don't remember what I'm all for her saying them because I felt like where I lived, I was a man alone. I swear to God, because nobody seemed to get that this guy was not the first black president. He's going to be the first Muslim president. And people looked at me like I was insane. And how do you figure that? I said, dude, look at his name. Look at his name. It's like, I got to point this out to you. These people came here and blew us up. And now we're electing one president. Are you insane? And I knew that when he did that thing in Denver, where people were like crying like the Beatles, when the Beatles came,
oh gosh,
that he was going to win. There was no way he wasn't going to win. I just resigned myself to the fact. I was like, wow, I can't believe
Well,
this country. And it was, what was it, 2000 and what, 8, right? I think,
Yep.
Yep.
or 6.
2008. It was 8.
Okay, which was not that far from when 9/11 was it? No, it
No.
just and we're wondering why now we got all these ones in our house and our Senate, a house, and it won't be long further in the Senate. It won't be long before we have one that comes telling us he wants to be president because he's going to be nice to all of us and love us all. And morons in this country will actually vote for that shit and then be pissed off when the first gay guy goes off a building.
No kidding. Wow. That's crazy. You're right.
I knew Obama was a Muslim when I saw him bowing to all the Muslim leaders. I mean, president of the United States is not supposed to show deference to another leader. Shake hands, fine, but when it came to bowing, you just don't do it. And that asshole bowed down to his damn waistline, in reference to the leader of the Muslim nation. It's like he just made the United States lesser in the eyes of the entire world by doing that to that leader.
The rumors are supposedly his hand was on the Quran and not the Bible when he took his oath of office.
And the Quran.
Right. I don't know how it is either, but.
And the Quran has that stupid word. It starts with it's not tequila, tequila, tequila. It's the Muslim lie. Yeah, where you can do that. You can say that if you're a Muslim, you can do the tequila, which is swear or lying to anything that would go against Islam. To protect Islam, you lie. It's okay. So wrong.
Yeah.
Yep.
And look how much he lied to us. Okay.
If you like your doctor, keep your doctor. Yeah.
But I mean, everything he did was to break America down, and he did it at a warp speed because everything before that was to break America down too. But Obama put it into warp speed with all the race stuff and the psycho side groups. The day he did an interview with a girl who her whole thing is she did videos in a bathtub full of Fruit Loops, but he did an interview with her. I mean, that should have told everybody what he was.
A Fruit Loop.
And to this day, people still think he's God's gift to the world. There are people out there that if you say one thing about Obama, they will, what do they call it? Self-immolate themselves or something. I don't, it's insane. And Obama is the reason that race relations in this country suck. Obama's the reason why people are graduating from high school in the inner city and can't read, write, or, know anything. Obama's the reason for all that. Yeah, he's the reason for all that. He's the reason why we watch videos of teachers getting the shit beat out of them because they can't discipline them or they can't this and they can't fight back and all this crap. He is the reason for that garbage. And he's sitting back laughing, I'm sure, as he's telling Joe, well, whoever Joe's handlers are. I don't think he wastes a lot of time with Joe because let's face it. I think if you told Joe what flavor ice cream he was having, that he might be able to handle that. But other than that, I don't think he handles much. I think he just gets pointed in the right direction.
What is so funny is it's ironic, but it's funny hearing Joe Biden talk about Barack Obama back in the day when he said he was an eloquent speaker and he was actually clean and well-versed. And I was like, clean? What? He was being racist. I'm like, oh my gosh, he called LL Cool J boy like just a week ago, and I was so embarrassed. But when he was talking about Obama and calling him clean and eloquent, I was That was nuts. That was so bad. And we weren't allowed to notice it or recognize it at the time. But we look back on it now and we're like, oh my gosh, he's always been a racist. It's sick.
I guess after he got elected, I guess he was
Yeah.
the youngest senator at the time he got elected. So he was doing all the talk shows at the time, being interviewed about that. And one of them asked him a question about being corrupt, because he said something like all the senators are corrupt. So it's just a matter of time before you become corrupt. And I think on one of them, Biden actually looked and grinned and said, how do you know I'm not corrupt now? and then on the other ones, he swore that he wasn't. You know,
That's the thing. They have gotten to the point where they don't care.
right?
I mean, let's face it, folks. We sit here tonight, we're talking about all this stuff, and every day they're doing this stuff. I mean, right in front of us. Right in front of us. And they don't care what we think. They don't care that we know. We know. Now, I'm not saying we're all right on every single subject. I'm not saying have every single detail. But I am saying that we know they're corrupt. We know pretty much you follow the money. It's not hard. You know, they're all like insider trading and then, getting paid by the, all the lobbyists and that kind of garbage. Okay. We know, and they don't care. How sad is that?
Yep. I just keep wondering when we're going to say to them, you don't need that $174,000 a year salary, because you get elected, you sign the paperwork to get that $174,000 a year check, and you've already probably made $17.4 million just by signing.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know.
You hope that we're paying them and they're doing the job that they're getting paid for, but it's not going to happen. I mean, rumors were Washington said back when they were first forming the Congress, he didn't want them to get paid. He didn't want them to get paid.
Listen, if they were doing their job, right?
Yep.
My insurance wouldn't have went up $100, but this is what they would have to do instead of what they do. Now, what they do is they go and spend most of their time raising money for the party or themselves, whatever. Okay. And filling their pockets up with money for votes. Okay. But if in reality, okay, they were actually doing their job, it'd be one bill, one like not even one bill, but one subject per bill, one vote. And they would vote 15 or 20 times a day. There would be rules in place that they had plenty of time to read the vote. There would be rules in place to, the bill can only be a certain amount of pages. So it's like Obamacare is 7,000 pages. Nobody can read that crap. And they give them time to bring it back to their constituents, who they are supposed to be working for, so that they don't vote their conscience. They vote these, constituents' conscience and what they want. And all these things, if they were doing their vote, if they were doing it, but they don't. And half of them don't even show up for half the freaking votes. Okay. There's all kinds of freaking rules and regulations in place. This is why I can never be a politician, because I'd be punching people on the first day. It is just so utterly ridiculous what you have to do in all this and that. We actually have a senator who can't put 3 words together. Dresses like he's, coaching youth hockey or something, and can't put on a suit with all the money, the big working guy. He's for the working guy, but got all that money from his parents. Can't buy a suit and put it on in the Senate. I mean, come on, guys.
I think Schumer shot that down too, and the policy became they have to go back. They have to go back to being dressed. I mean, whether or not he's capable of doing the job, he has to be dressed appropriately, which means shirt and tie or however a lady dresses on the floor of the Senate.
Right.
That's why it's the same thing with like Jim Jordan. He comes out with I swear to God, it's almost like he's wearing one of those Sears, bought shirts. or Walmart or
Seersucker
something
shirt.
like that. Okay. And he says a lot of good things and blah, blah, but what the hell does he do? I keep hearing about this plan. I'd really love it if this plan involved, I don't care if it's a janitor, throw somebody in jail, please. Because if the plan don't include jail, it's not much of a plan. Okay. I keep hearing about it, but you know what?
There's no consequence. Yeah, there's no consequences.
And I would like to see his financials. Has he gotten richer while he's been in there? And how? Okay.
Oh, wow.
How has he gotten richer? Okay. That's what I'd like to see.
I want to see if McCarthy got richer in the short time that he was the speaker.
Oh, I'm sure he did. Half the stuff he did.
And
If
he's up for re-election in 2024, does he leave and go become a high-power lobbyist for something?
Depending on how much, I would be so ashamed. They don't care.
He says he's running. I don't know if that's true or
I think under Trump in the first term, there was something. I don't know if Trump wrote an executive order or something, but there was something that said they can't leave and immediately go into a job in private industry that's a government contract.
Conflict
that's
of
what I
interest.
thought, but it may have been.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I assume it's not being enforced now, but yeah.
Was it an executive order is my question, because I don't remember that actually going through the House and Senate. I remember him saying it. I remember there was a whole thing about it.
And I don't know if his executive orders have any but I don't know if his executive orders have any weight over the House or the Senate because they're different branches.
No, they do. They do. They do until Joe Biden comes in and throws it away. Rips it up and throws it in the trash. So if it's an executive order, it's only good for in this case 4 years. That's the problem. Yeah, exactly. Until the next opposition president who hates you, which was everybody, and Joe Biden is no different, come in and they probably spent the first 5 days finding all the executive orders and throwing them in the garbage to ruin the country. Because you can say whatever you want about Trump, and some of it is I don't agree with some of the stuff he says and does, but he knew what he was doing on the economy. He knew how to fix his country. He knew how to gain respect in this world, and I don't care if you call it respect or fear or what. Nobody was attacking us. Nobody was attacking Israel. And when terrorists decided they were going to raise their ugly head, he blew them up.
Yep.
The end. Syria start talking trash. He didn't even kill anybody. He blew up, a hole in the desert just to say, "Hey, how you doing? Yeah, keep talking shit. See what happens."
Actually, he was pretty nice to them. He called President Asshat, from what I understand, and said, "You understand, the world wants me to bomb you. So I'm going to tell you." I'm going to ask you from what I'm joking what the conversation was, but basically him and Assad had a phone call and he made Assad understand that there were going to be U.S. bombs dropped in Syria. And I guess they decided it was the oldest air base in Syria. And he gave them ample notice and said, today's Monday. The bombs are going to drop Friday at this time in Syria. I'm suggesting you get everybody out of there and all the equipment you don't want there, out of there, because there ain't going to be nothing left. And supposedly he did.
Yep. I remember that.
And then I heard something even worse, that Asshat went after his insurance company that had the insurance policy on that base, and he built a brand new one. So it was like, it did accomplish what it was supposed to accomplish. But I don't get the game of diplomacy.
See, I don't care.
Oops, I got to turn my mic off.
Here's the deal. This is the problem with diplomacy. I don't care what they do to each other over there. I don't care if they kill each other. That's their business. Okay, it is. All right. But when you start bringing that stuff outside to us, or
Mm.
Israel or England, or one of our allies, we can't have that. So you drop that particular type of bomb on a country, nobody dies, and they kind of realize that, wow, they could kill a lot of us, and over and over again. And so they go a different route, and you just keep an eye on them. That's fine. But it's when they start doing stuff like we have seen here in the last couple of days that, the warning bombs and the warnings that were coming need to end. And that's what I loved about Trump. He didn't tell anybody what he was doing. He certainly didn't tell Nancy Pelosi or Chuckles Schumer. He just did it and then got on TV, say he did it, and they were screaming to the rafters. And he didn't go through the. You don't have to. He's the commander in chief. He wants to drop a bomb and kill Glad Baghdadi there, or whatever his name was. Okay, then he can do that.
Well,
no
the
problem.
reason why
Have
the
a
reason
good
why he
day.
bypassed Pelosi and so forth was because up until then, there were a couple of occasions where Trump wanted to do something, and those assholes released information ahead of time, and he couldn't do what he
Yep.
wanted to do. And when
Yep.
he realized that, that's why he
Yep.
bypassed him and did what he did, and then he told the world.
Genius.
Yep. There you go. It's not even genius. It's just common sense. Although, I gotta tell you, as much as he was hated, he shouldn't have had to have gone through that. He should have started with that.
Right.
Because
Hi,
of
Riri.
they were obviously hated him, and they were going to do everything to undermine him. But nevertheless, he got to it, and you know what? Who's North Korea didn't screw with us. And that guy may be a clown, but he's a dangerous clown. You know what I mean?
Rocket
They
Man.
didn't screw with us. Matter of fact, yeah, they got along. As countries and governments, we got along relatively well. We didn't really have to. I'm sure we watched them, but we didn't have to sit there and watch them 24 hours a day to see what that idiot was.
Right.
So we don't now. We don't have anything remotely close to that now.
I think
In the
Trump tried
presidency,
to
the House,
to
the Senate,
treat-
we don't have anything like that.
I think Trump tried to treat people with the respect that he wanted to get from them. Some kind of equal footing, and that's not what's happening now. And also joining us, William Rayfield, the host of the Patriots Labs Uncensored. You see here on
Hello.
on Facebook. Good evening, William. Glad to have you aboard.
Good
Nice to
evening,
see you,
everybody. How's
Hey.
everybody doing?
Good. I was talking about you earlier, about your post. That was fantastic. When you were talking about why doesn't anyone freeze the funds that we gave them? Take it back. Did you hear any more about that? Are they who would you talk to? I mean, now that we don't have McCartney in the house, who controls the purse?
I appreciate you follow my post, and I appreciate that it makes some type of sense, but the actual and factual of it all is there's no refreezing of funds. That is not going to take place. The funds were deliberately released so it could help finance such an operation by land, air, and sea by these terrorists. Reality is it is what it is. The only thing we can do is pray for not just our nation but for all nations, because I'm one of those people who I try to keep my emotions out of everything, and I try to look at everything objectively. I've had an opportunity to sit here and listen to Jerry, and I respect Jerry, and I respect what he stands for and what he believes in, but I totally disagree with his stance on with how he stands towards the Muslim nation. When we start painting a whole religion with a broad brush, we could say that Christianity here, when they used to lynch black people and walk around with the Bible at the same time, we have to be careful when we start holding whole religions responsible for extremists that take those religions hostage and use them for their agenda. I know wonderful Muslim people. At one time, I was a member of the Nation of Islam, growing up in New York City. I know a lot of Muslims who want nothing but peace. But then I know there are a lot of radical Muslims out there that use that same Quran to do evil. Just as the white man did back when he walked with the Bible as he led the black man to the tree.
Democrats did that.
Okay, now let's stop there for a second. Let me give Jerry a chance to respond. Go ahead, Jerry. There you go. Your mic is still off.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I certainly agree that all religions have their problems, also in present and past. I would hope that the Bible toters in this country have gotten past lynching people and all that horribleness. Okay, I obviously do not agree with that in any way, shape, or form. It just seems to me there's only one religion in the world that teaches children to kill for no other reason than basically they don't agree with us and what we think and how we live and so on and so forth. I can't imagine telling Jen that she can't drive or go anywhere without a male relative, stuff like that. And that's, to me, whatever this, to me, that's the least thing they're doing that's wrong.
I couldn't imagine Jesse telling Jen that.
Yeah, I think there'd be some, beatings or something. I don't know, but that's the least of the things. I used to go to church. I'm Catholic. I'm not practicing none of that, and I never once heard that we're supposed to go to someone else's country, lie to them, tell them that you're a friend, and then turn around and cut their head off at some point. I don't remember that. I'm being facetious. Obviously, that never happened, but it happens every day in a mosque. We are the enemy to them. Whether we want to be the enemy to them or not does not make a difference. We are still the enemy. You, me, Jen, Dave, everybody. Okay. Now, do I think killing anybody because of what God says is good? No. I think millions have been killed because of what God says, and the Christians were in on that back in the Crusades and everything else. And even in this country with Indians and you name it. Okay. I mean, people use God as an excuse for a lot of things that are not good. Okay. There is no doubt of that. But I think, I'm not saying every Christian. What I'm saying is I think overall we have grown and we realize that's not what we're supposed to be doing. I mean, in the Bible it says thou shalt not kill, but how many people as Christians killed in history and even in the history of this country for what? God don't want you to do that. Our Constitution says all men are created equal, and that's true. What they end up as is another story. I can't help that, and it's not just black people or Hispanic. It's everybody. You have a chance to do something in this country and be something or whatever it is you want to be, and that's that. But the Muslims, their only reason, it seems, for living, okay, is to kill us. And they can tell you all kinds of stuff. You're my friend, I don't believe that. But if they're still reading that book, why are they reading that book? Why?
True.
If they don't believe that, why are they reading that book? Now, my friend Larry Burns from Canada, who I think is on here or was, he's read both of the Qurans.
I think he's one of the Facebook
and
users.
There's a few of
Watching
them.
in the group.
So I got a question for
Yes.
you, Jerry.
He absolutely.
What do I say to my family members that are sitting across the table from me when we get together for reunions that are Muslim, that I've known my whole life and they've been Muslim for maybe 15, 20 years or so be it? What do I say to friends that I grew up with that I know that have been Muslim their whole life, throughout their family generations, that I know love me dearly? What do I say to those people? That's why I say I can't paint a whole religion with a broad brush. See, I've been fortunate enough. I've traveled the world 9 times. I've been fortunate enough to interact with almost every race. I've been intimately involved with numerous races. So I can't. Trump said it a long time ago. There are good people on both sides. We can't paint one whole entity as bad. We got to be careful when we do that, because what we do is we alienate the good people that are in there and we make them hate us. That's what we do. There's good. My grandmother taught me a long time. If you look deep enough, you can find good in everything. And if you look deep enough, you can find some bad in everything.
Wow.
We can't
Well,
paint it with a broad
I
brush.
can't tell you.
But you know what
I
happens?
can't tell you.
You have a small group right now called Hamas, who are Muslims, who invaded Israel with the purpose of causing them to attack back and to create a multi-country war with the intention of wiping out Israel. Here they are killing and raping and rampaging through these villages of these civilians who did absolutely nothing to them other than being Jewish. So when you have a group of Muslims doing something like that, unfortunately, it does paint that picture that all Muslims are bad because they're doing it in the name of the Quran.
I don't know if it does paint that there are that all of them are bad, and I don't care who says.
I didn't say all of them. What I'm saying is, but what happens when you have a group of Muslims doing that,
Right.
it makes the entire faith look bad.
Right. And in my head and in the ones that I know, I believe there are radicalized Muslims who have a somewhat different belief set from my brother-in-law and his family who are Muslims. They don't want to kill everybody. They don't want to kill Jews because my sister has been married to one for a very long time and they have 2 children. And so that's my point. But I do think William is somewhat correct in the sense that you can't just say all M's are bad and you can't just say all M's are good, because they're not. It's the same with the Jews. You can't just say all Jews are good and all Jews are, some Jews are,
That's the
All Jews
same
are
with
bad, all
Christians.
Jews are good. It's the same with everything. That there is a filter there where that separates some from some, and that's the thing. That's my 2 cents. I'm getting tongue tied, so I'm gonna.
If I may, I got a question for the panel. Does anybody, and I had the opportunity of speaking with Randy this afternoon just about this issue. Does anybody know why Hamas is doing what they're doing?
I feel like they're doing it on the anniversary of Rosh Hashanah because they did the same exact thing 50 years ago. And now it's
No.
their, what do you think?
Okay. I had the opportunity. My grandfather is a bishop. My uncle is a pastor. I until today, I myself, I have been raised to know nothing but to love Israel and support Israel. That's me. That's how I've been raised. Until today, I talked to my uncle and my grandfather, and I heard something come out of both of their mouths to me that I never thought ever in my life I would hear because of the way I was raised. And they told me, they said, Ray, Israel deserves everything that they're getting right now. They cannot defend Israel.
Oh,
Because
God.
no, listen, let me finish.
Finish.
What they listen,
Okay,
what
people.
they have done.
Okay,
Listen to
hold
me.
on.
Let me
One
finish.
person
I didn't
speaks.
interrupt anybody.
Okay, one person speaks.
What they
and
have
the
done
other
is
person
they have
speaks.
separated the nation of Israel from the government of Israel. It's a big difference. We have to understand that just like the government here is evil, but we love America, we love Israel. But it is very unfortunate that right now there is a propped up government that is very evil. It is not a coincidence that this major attack was greenlighted by Iran right after $6 billion was allocated out of their freezing assets. The $6 billion wasn't American money. This was money that already was in the hands of Iran but was frozen. This is another plan by this evil empire. Just like we didn't get closure to Kennedy, just like we didn't get closure to 9/11, we're not going to get closure to this. This is a prelude to get us into World War III. It's unfortunate that this type of evilness exists.
But you know what, William? It appears that what I've heard, and it may not be true, but this is what I heard, is that the Iranian government came to the Biden administration and said, the sanctions and our frozen money, we can't take care of our people here. So we would like $6 billion of our dollars to come back so that we can take care of our people. Because if I was president of the United States and they came into my office and said, we would like you to return $6 billion of our dollars so we could blow Israel off the face of the earth, they wouldn't have gotten the money, and they know it.
Dave, there's not a life in Iran that has changed. You have to be naive to believe that they're going to treat their people any different than they've been treating them for thousands of years. It is not a coincidence that this major attack, Israel and America are supposed to have two of the most highly sophisticated anti-war, you can't attack us, is it What do we give all of this money to get protected, but major shit happens and major failures just so happen to take place? These things are not coincidences. You can't tell me satellites and intelligence and all of the shit that the CIA, FBI, and every other ABC intelligent group could not know that this attack was getting ready to take. This shit didn't happen overnight.
And then the response to that is those people that knew that this was going to happen and pulled it over on our government, they're in our government, but they pulled it over on the rest of the government and the American people. Those people got some splaining to do. And I don't know what they can tell me other than nodding their head when I say you need to put your back up against the wall or put the rope around your neck because you let your country down. You let your country down. You let one of our biggest allies since the dawn of time down. And like everybody says, it's going to happen again. Because next week, I mean, we've been giving Ukraine billions of dollars every time they ask for it. Now it's over trillions of dollars we have given them. Doesn't anybody think that at some point they're going to take all of that stuff, all of that money that's there, and they're going to come back and do something to us? No. Why they won't do something to us is they're holding Biden. They got Biden blackmailed over what they think they can tell the world that would nail Biden. So he's going to keep giving that money. And if you listen to Trump, he's saying I could meet with both Biden and Zelensky and Putin, and within a brief conversation, that whole thing would be done.
Well, I got to give Jerry credit because I told Randy this morning, I said, I got to give both you and Jerry credit because what y'all been talking about. See, I didn't want to jump the gun. I told him I didn't want to put the horse in front of the cart. I didn't want it to get to this, but it's here. And we now I know we got to prepare. Now I know we got to prepare. I didn't think it was going to get this far, but it's here. It's just a matter of when and where it's going to start, because we got to face the facts. They're already here. The Somalians and these terrorist men are already here, and they're only here for one reason and one reason only. When America and Israel gets ready to step on Lebanese ground, because they plan on going to Lebanon. That's the plan. We can't let none of them live. We have to do this. That's the plan. And the agenda is, if you're not with us, you're not American. See, they're already getting that narrative out there. You can't speak against the war or nothing like that. And him and Netanyahu already had the call. They said, we not stopping. We going all the way to Lebanon. We going door to door. So now we looking at Vietnam. We looking at urban warfare, because the war machine is about to get rich all over again. And the American people support it. So it's going to go forth, because if you dare talk against it, and like I told Randy, because Randy said, oh, I guess you're with Hamas now. I said, I expected that. No, I'm not with Hamas. I'm just pointing out certain facts. People have to do their history on why Hamas is doing what they're doing. They don't hate. Listen to me. They don't hate Jews. They hate what the government over in Israel is doing to them, and they feel helpless. Now, we might not agree on their tactics. We might not agree, because it is very brutal what the hell they are doing.
Well, okay, I'm confused. The government of Israel, which has a Hamas majority right now, is upset with what the government of Israel is doing to Jews. So they declared war on themselves. I'm going to let somebody else respond to that, but because that sounds to me like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. A government is upset with what it's doing to its people, so it declares a war on its people.
What is the
Okay.
Israeli
There was a-
government doing to Hamas? What are they doing? Saying stay out.
Okay,
There's a wall.
okay. No, listen. Here it goes. Here it goes. Listen, I'm gonna give it to you right now. There was an Israeli and a Palestine peace accord signed. After decades of bloody animosity, representative of Israel and Palestine met on the south lawn of the White House to sign framework for peace. The Declaration of Principles was the first agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians towards ending their conflict and sharing the Holy Land between the River of Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea that they both held claim to as their homeland. Fighting between Jews and Arabs in Palestine dates back to the 1920s, when both groups had laid claim to the then British-controlled territory. The Jews were Zionists, recent immigrants from Europe and Russia that came to the ancient homeland of then the Jews to establish a Jewish state. At that time, the Arabs, they did not call themselves Palestinians, sought to remove themselves from this migration and set their own Palestinian state. So on May 14th, 1948, the state of Israel was proclaimed. At that time, there were 5 Arab nations that had attacked Israel. Israel fought back all 5 Arab nations, not just taking over their property, but taking and driving the Arabs all the way back past many of lands. After 2 successful brokered deals in 1947, the United Nations said to the Arabs, you can have everything up to Gaza and make it a Palestinian state. Ever since then, Israel would not relinquish back their land. These are laws that were set in place. So the people, which were then called Palestinians, they got tired of not having their land back. So what happened? There was a group of people that stepped up and said, listen, you're not going to give us our land back that was rightfully given back to us. We're going to take it by any means necessary. See, and this is where the Patriots are about to get to.
They're not going to get
We're
it.
about to go
Israel
up.
won it in a war, and in the days when Israel won it in a war, you kept what you won. And as far as peace accords go there's never been a peace accord between them, between the Palestinians and the Israelis, because neither side wants peace.
Yeah, what?
Abraham,
Listen.
Abraham,
Listen, it's right here. What do you think I was reading? Israel-Palestine Peace Accord. It was signed during Bill Clinton. What are you talking about? So if you sign something, and you got to remember, America's the big dog. So what America says goes. So these people like, cool. America just said, yo, we about to give our shit back. But check this out. The Israelis, they said, you know what? We'll take everything and take all of our troops out. We're still going to control everything. So when I tell people why is Hamas doing this, I don't agree with what they're doing. But us as American patriots, we're getting ready to do the same shit to our government that Hamas is doing to the government that unfortunately isn't in Gaza, it's in Israel. We're getting ready to do it. Because let me tell you something. I sound like one of them wrestlers. Let me tell you something. They've let 10 million over here for a reason. It only takes Elon Omar to get on national network and give the call. They got millions here that are Hamas. And it's only going to take the Americans and the Israels to just about go too far towards Lebanon. And you know them gliders they was using? I was telling Randy this morning. It's only going to take one to go over a stadium. These people don't care about their lives. They're ready to give their lives away. Just like we're about to be in the same situation. They're ready to give their lives up for a cause. Can you see 15 of them paragliding into a Dollywood or something just to kill a good 5,000 in 15 minutes?
All right, hold back.
That's what we now look at.
Okay.
Because they're here.
Hold back.
Now it's just
Jerry.
a matter of when and where.
Jerry, would you like to respond? No, William left because William doesn't like to. I'm going to say this because I want this recorded on this broadcast. William doesn't like to be cut off, and I'm very sorry that William got cut off. But I haven't done a broadcast on Facebook, anybody's broadcast, where they have not ever cut me off if I continue. And Jerry, my best friend in the broadcast world, yells at me if I talk too long. So, William, I'm very sorry that I had to give somebody else a turn. Jerry, the floor is yours.
Well, to answer his first question, I can't tell him what to tell his family members or anything else. He can tell him whatever he wants. But this is what I'm going to tell you. Throughout the world yesterday, there were people dancing in the streets. They were all Muslim. Every last one of them about what happened to Israel. 9/11, there were people all over the world dancing in the streets who were Muslim. Okay? I didn't see any of them dancing in the street for Israel. I didn't see any of them dancing in the street for America when 9/11 happened. So, I don't care about accords. I don't care about peace. There is no peace with the Middle East. I don't care what you sign. If it wasn't for the Gaza Strip, okay, it'd be something else. They just come up with stuff to be pissed off about, and then they go and they start slaughtering people. I have no use for the religion. I have no use for the people in it. I do not give a damn what anyone else thinks of that. And that's, everybody can have an opinion. I don't care. You have yours, I'll have mine. But to come on here and say that these Muslims are mad at the Israeli government is horse shit, when all I keep hearing is that they're going to push Israel into the sea of blood. Okay? And that includes the people of Israel. Now, I don't know what kind of government they got over there. I know they got a lot of problems, people protesting in the streets, all kinds of crap happening. But this is what I can tell you. If the political winds shift in an ugly direction, there's two things I'm going to be for. America, Israel. Period. End of discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Jen?
Okay, well, first of all, this is really funny. Behind me, the sun always blasts that bookshelf. There's nothing on there that's that shiny.
It's
But
God.
books.
It's
I'm like,
God. Run over there with your mic.
it's a sign. No, okay, but really, when he was asking Jerry, I was like, I want to cut in, but it would be so. I usually don't talk over people, so I don't know why he said I'm talking now. I was like,
sometimes you have to.
okay, well, I wanted
And
to
I tell
say-
people that, If you haven't heard my
yeah.
trademark line, I'm sorry for cutting you off, but that's what I do. You
Yeah.
have to do the same thing. And
Okay.
it's okay to do it, just not so everybody starts yelling at everybody.
Right. Okay. What I would say to the people, I don't care who it is, I've said this before to
Okay.
my friends in Michigan. Hi, Ray. He came back. We didn't mean to cut you off. We felt so bad when you
Okay, Jen, no, we didn't cut him off.
Facebook did because he talked too long. And I'm usually the one.
No. I don't place blame on Facebook when they didn't do something, and I accept blame if I kick somebody from the broadcast. I did not kick Ray from the broadcast. I'll give him a few seconds, maybe a minute, to tell why he decided to leave, but that's on him. Okay?
Okay, so
so he won't be back.
What I would say to the people in Michigan that subscribe to that book, I would say, one, your book, you may be a beautiful person. Number one, your book sucks. Number two, it is never good to lie. That's bad. And number three, never cut someone at the throat or neck or however they say it if they disagree with you. They're just bad. I mean, that's what I would say. The book sucks because of those two things, especially. Oh, and the biggest thing of all, Muhammad is a false god. That's all. That's all I would say. I probably we're gonna get hit with rockets now.
Nah. You know what? If I wake up dead, maybe it's better. That's what I honestly. Sometimes maybe that's better because I don't know if I.
Yeah.
If I will, I don't want to see if what everybody says is going to happen here is going to happen here.
It's like, no, thank you.
I don't want to see it only because for 61 years, I'm right to you, Randy. For 61 years, I believe that God didn't create something just to one day hit the red button and blow it up. But maybe he did, because then my question to God will be, how many times before you blew us up did you blow it up before?
Yeah. Randy, you got a little fairy thing in your house too. Right below your Confederate flag. Something's on fire too. What the heck? Go ahead.
It looked like you had something to say, Randy.
Raymond and I had, and I kind of alluded to the conversation earlier, but I didn't want to mention any names. He reached out to me and we were talking, and I reacted the same way then that I did now when I heard him talk. But the citizens of any country, I don't care what country it is, okay, do not deserve the atrocities done to them because there's a group of people who disagree with the government of that country. When William said that the Israelis deserved what they got, that is bullcrap.
Well,
wait
for a second. In some cases, I guess I have to agree with that only to a point. Israel has, like we have Congress, Israel has a body called the Knesset. And to the best of my knowledge, in the last Knesset election, Hamas won the majority.
I'm not talking about the government. I'm talking about the man, woman, and child that was on the street enjoying the day of the Sabbath or whatever it was. The people at the carnival who were having a good time celebrating peace. Okay. They didn't deserve what happened to them. Okay.
They did not.
If Hamas wants to start something, then they should target the government, not the citizens.
Right.
So right now, I'm in total agreement that, the Bible says an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. The Israeli government is bombing the shit out of the cities and towns of Hamas. And maybe there might be civilians being killed, but we know for a fact from before that the Muslims will put citizens in and around their damn military buildings, their supplies of weapons and their bombs and shit, because they think that if Israel hits that target and kills civilians, that they can use that then against in the world of the nations. Say, oh my God, they killed 20 citizens. No, we destroyed a building that is full of munitions. What happened to have 20 people in there? But the Israeli citizenship did not deserve what they're getting. You know damn well right now those hostages are probably being raped and raped and raped and raped before they get to either die or get returned to their families.
They're not going to get returned. The odds are they won't get returned to their families. That's a terrible thing for me to say. And even if they do, that they will be so far. I mean, I can only imagine what the effect of whatever is happening to them will have on their brains, for lack of putting it better. And I mean this to no disrespect to anyone who's ever going through this. I want to say it the way I want to say it, and I hope, like I said, I don't mean any disrespect. I think that's damaged goods that you may never be able to fix. You have a responsibility to take care of those people forever, but I don't know if those atrocities can ever be fixed. Jerry?
I'm sorry, kill them all. I don't care about them. I get it. People have, relatives, whatever, or, family members, something, whatever.
Okay. No, and I respect
I was once asked on a broadcast on Live Leak, of all places. I was kind of submarined by this. I was a guest, and they put on a Muslim guy who was also on Live Leak. And the question that was asked, would I trust him in a foxhole? And the answer was no.
Wow.
It was that simple. It was no.
Yep.
And anybody who trusts these fucking people, the government don't trust them. The government uses peace or peace accords or peace this or peace that to get themselves elected in this country. Oh, look what I did. And in reality, they did nothing because they end up attacking us, somebody else, whatever. What happened in Israel is I can't even come up with words. Okay. I can't come up with words. And, get this. In Israel, there are people who agree with Hamas, who are Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They're there. They protest against this. Against, the things that, Israel is doing that's so bad. You know what? You cannot trust a Muslim. I don't give a damn where they live. I don't give a damn, how much, he's my best friend or my relative for 30 years. They love me because I think that in the end, they'll give you up for 72 virgins and not give a shit.
Okay.
And
now, I'm going to say this, though. Go ahead, Jerry, and then I'll say it. Go ahead, Jerry.
No, I'm done. Go ahead.
Okay. The way I am is everybody has an opinion. So anybody watching, if you are from that other side, you are more than welcome to come on and take part with the panel. And generally we try to treat everybody the way we want to be treated. That's the purpose of this. And I apologize that it gets loud every now and then, or I get loud every now and then. And
I like William. I
always
like
say
William.
equal.
You can have any opinion
I
you want.
I like William too, but I just didn't agree with
You know how I hate to admit when I agree with Randy, but I do. It's giving me some agita. I got to be honest with you.
I don't think Randy and I have ever agreed in 4 years of doing broadcasts.
Yeah, but it's just, listen, the only way you're going to stop the terrorist attacks or this is more or less of a terrorist attack than it is a full-blown attack on their country, like a war type of thing. Okay. at least to me. Um, it's to let's put it this way: it's to snuff it out completely. Okay,
True.
and I mean completely, to where they're so terrified to make a move, they do nothing. But I like what William actually has said a lot of good things. And
I agree.
I have agreed with him before. I
I
just don't
agree.
agree with this at all. And
Okay.
I can't tell him what to say to his loved ones. Only he can do that. I
Right.
don't understand that part of the question. But I see what he's asking. I do. I see what he's asking, but that's not my place to tell him.
Right.
Okay, you tell them whatever you want. They're your family. You want to trust them. That's your choice. Me, I do not. There's no way.
Right.
There's no way.
That is correct.
I was going to say, you don't want them on your show. You can't believe a darn thing they tell you.
Well, okay, I understand that, but I always say, usually after everybody's gone, I always say equal time is given to responsible parties with opposing views. Just let me know. It doesn't necessarily mean that I agree with you or not. It's my belief is that you have as much right to come on this broadcast as long as there is a camera available for you to come on and disagree with me, as I have to come onto a camera and disagree with you if you're on this broadcast. But anyway, I just
That's nice.
Ray, you're always
that's
welcome
the thing.
back. You're welcome back on Thursday, but as far we're gonna wrap this up pretty quick anyway because it's getting near.
Dinner.
Listen, hey,
My wife
can
has
I
to go
say
to bed.
something? Real
Yes,
quick.
Jerry, the floor is
Larry,
yours.
next time that William comes on, Larry wants to come on. Now,
Okay.
Larry is pretty knowledgeable about the Quran and all that. It's just
Okay.
I have to, maybe what he says will change something, maybe it won't, but Larry wants to come on, so
All right.
I would love. And William, I don't know if you're listening. If you want to come on the American Rebellion, you're always welcome there. I will say that you will be given a chance to speak and say what you're, whatever you want. That's your business.
Right.
But I wouldn't expect a lot of people there to agree with what you're saying. Because what Randy said is true. I don't care. That's why government and people don't go to war. Governments go to war and they send the people.
Right.
So I know it's twice in one night. I'm telling you right now, I may need a hospital. But he's right. War governments go to war, and they send the people to fight them.
Right.
People don't go to war. So that's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Could you imagine if we sent our Congress to represent us in a war?
Do what he did. Do what he did back in the day. Make the leaders of the nations fight each other. King against king. Whichever king dies, the other king gets the entire kingdom.
I always thought one better. Give the leader of each country an AK-47 with unlimited rounds, and put them in a room. Let them pick their spot if they're standing in the room. Then turn the lights off. And when you don't hear gunfire anymore, the last person standing, if there is one, won the war.
Wow.
Yeah, that works too. Or just send their kids to war and see how quickly they don't want to go to war anymore.
Yeah.
How about
I
that?
mean, to me, war is an outdated means of accomplishing anything. But I don't.
I agree, especially the wars that we are fighting currently. We're fighting political wars now at this point. We're not fighting for like World War II. Okay,
right.
World War II, we were there to stop Hitler. Okay, and we didn't do that great a job before we stopped Hitler to save the Jews, because we knew about that shit and did nothing.
Right.
However, that was a just war. A just war would be defending Israel and the horrific crap that just happened there.
Right.
Okay, we don't fight those wars anymore. Now we fight political wars, and
Right.
send their damn kids. Let them go fight.
All right, folks. Let me see what time we're looking at. It's 9:15. So, Jerry, if you want to say something, invite people to the American Rebellion downstairs tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern on the American Rebellion blogger page. You're more than welcome to watch. He puts the link up if you really want to come in. I would have invited you, Larry, and I'm having such a problem with the live chats that I spent 3 hours on the phone with StreamYard the other day. They swore they had it fixed. They didn't. Tomorrow it's going to be another 3 hours, and I promise I will get it fixed.
I will say this. Larry is pretty knowledgeable about this subject of the Quran. I'll say that.
Okay.
He's come on our show and he's done a lot of reading and so forth, whereas I've just read excerpts and stuff like that,
Yep.
which was enough for me because it pissed me off. If William wants to come on tomorrow night, I'm sure Larry will be there. He always is. Or maybe you come on Thursday and you guys can
Whichever you prefer. You can come on
work out
both.
something.
I don't care.
Or both.
Everybody's always welcome. Everybody's always welcome. So
exactly.
I learned from you, Jerry. If you yell at somebody, we all, at the end of the broadcast, I'd want to be in the bar with everybody, regardless of who I yelled at, laughing and drinking about the broadcast. And then, the next day when the red light, the green light comes on, we're back to having fun.
No more. You know what, Dave? In the end, that's why this shit works, because we are friends, at least online. At least online. And for me, I literally have no friends in real life. That's not a lie. That's not an exaggeration. That's none of that. Okay, so I come on and I see my friends. You know what I mean? So you're doing a good job, Dave. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. I'm glad. So, Jerry, anything before you put your parachute on?
No, I think I've said everything I need to say, but I want to thank you for letting me come on. And Jen, hopefully
I appreciate it anytime you come on.
Are you done painting, Jen? Are you done painting, Jen? Because we really need you back.
I'll be there. Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah, it all came out perfect. Everything's good.
Everything's good. Everything's good. Everybody will be there tomorrow. All right, Mr. Randy.
Yeah, good. So see you next time.
Yeah. So
all right, Jerry. Mr. Randy.
So it's been an exciting conversation today.
God, I haven't had a boogie with a blow. I haven't had a boogie with a blowout in years.
Yeah, and you weren't even part of it. That's the whole thing.
Good job. I'm so proud. So proud of us.
I will say this. No one across this world should be told how to live if it goes against their personal Christian or Muslim beliefs. Okay, they should be able to live life the way they
exactly
want to, based on thousands of years of their faith. But when it comes to Israel, I believe the Bible says that God gave Israel this land to conquer and to hold for themselves. And the land that they're fighting for is the land that God gave them. I also believe that no man, woman, child, young or old, should be the target of any invasion, of any terrorist attack. You have to admit that when the United States goes to a war even a remote war, where all we're doing is dropping bombs and missiles, we make damn sure that the target we're hitting is a military target. Okay, Israel, for the most part, is doing the same thing. I've seen their videos the past couple of days. They're being very specific as to what they're hitting. Okay. But for Hamas terrorists to come across the border, whether or not they had help from Israel or whatever, to just randomly kill men, women, children, and little toddlers. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's where I agree that Israel has the right to revenge against every single one.
Right.
And Israel's being very conscious as to what they're hitting. Okay.
They're not going
But-
to hit Iran, but I'm sure they want to.
Oh, I'm sure it's in the works. And I know for a damn fact that if the United States gets involved and we start dropping some bombs or getting our Navy or Air Force in the middle of it, you're
Well,
gonna have
the
World War III.
USS Gerald R. Ford, which I believe is the newest of our I don't know if it's an aircraft carrier or a battleship or whatever, the newest, that and its fleet were in, I think, Italy doing war games, and they are, from what I read, on their way to
right.
the
And it's
Mediterranean.
going to take some time for them to get there. Hopefully, by the time they get there, this whole thing is over with.
I hope that you're right, or they get there and they're just there in case they're needed. But but anyway,
All right.
anything
So-
else, Mr. Rhodes?
So all roads lead to home. Genealogy. I can find every possible thing I can about you, even the things you don't want me to find. Please, even if you're not a supporter of the South or a Confederate or whatever, I don't care who or what you are. My fees are very minimal. I think I'm like I think I worked out like $7.30 an hour. I'm a damn cheap genealogist.
He's
But
a
I
cheap
have the
date.
experience, okay? And I
That's
have a
great.
lot of very happy clients. So check me out on Facebook.
And even if you think you're related to royalty, he'll prove to you that you're not.
But there's a castle involved somehow.
There's a castle involved
Yeah.
for you, but for me, he
Yep,
hasn't found any royalty.
Right.
So, Jen, Dave, I'm
All
going
right,
to parish you.
Bye.
All right.
Pull the string.
I have so much fun doing that. And
That's all right.
I am going to say this: if you need a ceramic mug with a logo on it, talk to Jen.
Oh,
Okay.
that's awesome.
Okay, I mean, it wasn't anybody's fault. They came up more expensive than I thought they were going to be. The mug itself is like $10 with the logo on it, but it's almost $10 to send it to you. It comes in this really nice styrofoam case, so it doesn't risk breaking while it's on the way. But if you need a mug, Jen's the person to talk to, and
Yeah, I'll give you a link. You could get
and you
it.
gotta pay for quality anyway.
It,
So,
it will be $14.95.
and if you're
Include shipping, yeah.
if you like memes, join our groups. Jen does all the memes and puts up a lot of hashtags, and follow those hashtags, and anything else.
No, good show. It was.
It was
really
very
fun.
good. It was actually one of my favorites in a long time. Thursday
Yeah.
night, are you free?
I don't know. I'll try to get free. I know because I'm doing Wednesday and Friday.
That's
So-
right. You are doing Wednesday and
I
Friday.
don't know. I might be free on Thursday because
Okay.
we get paid on Friday, so I might have to take Friday off from a show.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I think I'm free on Thursday. I think.
Let me
so.
know. Let me
Fun.
know. All right.
Bye.
All right. Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Let's
Thank you.
see. All right, Jen Woodruff, the homeschooling mom on Facebook all over the place. She's one of the admins of our 8 groups. Let me see if I can remember them. The private groups are American Regulators, Conservative Freedom Defenders, Red Patriots for America, the Hardcore Conservatives group. The public groups are Boogie with a Bull, True Patriot, Talk, Bag of News Nation, and Move America Forward with the exclamation point on the end, and with Randy Grease and Roland Hatton and a cast of thousands, the new United Media Group Uncensored. So take a look at those groups if you're not members. Conservative Patriot stuff, talk, even stuff that isn't conservative patriot stuff. Good laughs if you come up with one every once in a while. If you do political memes, please get them into the groups. I'm a diehard political meme collector. and I will share them all over the internet. Once again, I do want to apologize to everybody who was watching in the group, the Boogie with the Bull True Patriot Talk group. Everybody's coming up Facebook user, even if you've done that trick before where you've gone to StreamYard and do StreamYard.com/Facebook, scroll halfway down the page, click on it. It tells you that you've given StreamYard permission. It hasn't worked as long as we've had it. I've bickered with them several times. We got it working for a day or two. Then it quit working. So I'm going to probably spend a long time on the phone in the next few days trying to get it resolved once and for all. And the live chat, if you watch on my Dave Goldman profile, has never made it to this screen. So that's why you don't see your comments flashed on the screen. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion, as Ray said in the live chat. And another comment was, in pay attention comments, Dave, I wanted to educate you all. Everybody's going to have a different belief, and they're going to come into a discussion from a different point of view. And that's why we try to have that discussion, and we try to educate and inform everybody. And it's not just one person coming in here and trying to educate all of us. And I said before, and I will say it again, I don't care what anybody else says or said on this broadcast or says anywhere on the internet. Okay, there are radicalized Muslims and there are Muslims that are not radicalized. And there is a difference between them as far as I am concerned. I have said it before and I will say it again. I have them in my family. I love them dearly. They love us dearly. And they're, I've never met one I didn't like or didn't deserve to be respected, just like anyone else. Larry, there's a group chat on Messenger that I post the link around 6:45, and then everybody's welcome to join me after we go live at 7 or join me at 6:45, and we watch the clock, and at 7 o'clock we all go live. You can do it either way, whatever way is easier for you. Bring your or wear your tallest hip boots, because it gets kind of crazy in here. You see from watching. If anybody else wants to be a part of the broadcast, I've said it before, I'm really happy the American Rebellion people come on their days off. But anybody else is welcome to join us. Ichabod Palmer was here earlier. You're welcome to join us. Lisa Adams is a Second Amendment expert. I forget the title that we actually had once before for her, but she is a Second Amendment expert, for lack of putting it better. Lisa, if you message me, you're welcome to pop on Thursday. We can only seat 7 guests, me and 7 guests, for a total of 8 guests. And that's all I can do. If there is ever more than 8 people that want to be on one day, then we may have to shovel people around at different portions of the program, but we won't worry about that. Also, if you are a StreamYard broadcaster like me, meaning you use StreamYard, you can actually go live. I can link you to me, and wherever you're live on StreamYard, we're live with you, and wherever we're live with StreamYard, which is Facebook and YouTube right now, you're live with us. And we do take our Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel podcast and send it around different places on the internet as well. So think about that. It could be a really interesting broadcast. We could have 9,000 cameras from all over the United States, and everybody gets a chance to come in and speak with their views. So let's see. Michael Bogus was watching. Carl Williams, Boyce J. Silva, William Rayfield watched. Ray, I'm sorry it got a little crazy, but this stuff happens sometimes. Carol Lafredo, my buddy, I'm glad you were watching. And Danny Campbell, who has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcasts than anybody else in the history of Boogie with the Bull, was watching. William Grant was watching, and he had so much fun. He had to leave for a bit. He came back and watched a little more. Lily Priest, glad you watched. Bill Jr. Hey, if you ever need a landlord that don't take a lot of garbage from anybody, Dr. Bill Jr. And I think that's it. I am going to clarify a comment that William made in the live chat. I never shut anyone down, meaning kick them from the broadcast, unless it's a situation where someone may be speaking longer than they need to, and other people on the broadcast want to have a response. So I did not touch any button that ejected William Rayfield from this broadcast today. Okay, I did interrupt him a few times so that other people could get a chance to speak and or rebut things that he said, and that's how this broadcast works. Okay, I don't profess to know anything about anything. I just know that I usually know when I'm going to do a broadcast, and I can get 4, 6, sometimes 8 people to come together and share our thoughts, and that's what I do. I've told people for 4 years the whole idea behind Boogie with the Bull was to get all of the broadcasters on Facebook that you should be watching, and they're all on different times. Try to get them from time to time on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast so they talk about what's going on in their world and on their shows, and you can decide whether or not you want to watch them or not. And some of them you should. You should watch everything, then make your own opinions and your own decisions based on the knowledge that you give yourself. So like I said, hopefully tomorrow during the day, and if I have to carry it into Thursday morning, we'll get the Facebook user problem taken care of, so that if you're watching on the Boogie with the Bull True Patriot Talk group, I will be able to see who you are. And if you're watching on the Dave Wolven profile, I'll be able to see you on the main screen like I'm supposed to be. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, I'll be able to see you and take part in your live chat there. The only reason I watch it on the YouTube channel is because we send it from YouTube everywhere that we don't want it on. Everywhere we want it off of Facebook, we send it from the YouTube channel. So go to the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel, subscribe. There are tons of shows you can watch. Some are funny, some are sad, some are, I don't know, just a bunch of them that you can watch. And if you're ever watching and you see one that you really like, take it, bring it back to Facebook and share it. And take it and share it off of Facebook if you want. But I'm running out of words. And it's coming up on 9:31, and we were going to be done no later than 9:30. Thursday, like I said, Thursday evening, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. is the broadcast time. The link goes into the live chat. Excuse me, the link goes into the group chat on Messenger at about 6:45, and you have an option. You can come join me in the studio and we all go live together, or you can come join me one by one at 7 o'clock when we go live. And I hope you do. I showed you the nice Boogie with the Bull mug, and hope you can get that. And so right now, Otto, the new red, white, and blue octopus mascot of my desk, wanted to come on and say hello. I think he's really cute. They're little octopuses that my wife Donna started crocheting in different colors, and I begged her for a red, white, and blue one. So he's on the desk, making sure I have a good time. Anyway, I will see you here on Thursday. I will be either watching in the live chat on the American Rebellion tomorrow downstairs on the American Rebellion blogger page, or I may be on for a short period of time. It kind of depends. And that's all I'm going to say on that. A little bit of a tough week in the David Wolven bipolar 1-2 dementia world. Little week has kind of started off a little rough, so I apologize for any of that. But That's all I'm going to tell you. Live well and prosper. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is coming to an end. This is the time of the program where I tell you you've been watching Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. We own it all, and that's all I'm going to say. Equal time is given to responsible parties with opposing views. That means if you disagreed with anything anyone said, including me on the broadcast, or that you read in the live chat during the broadcast, you are welcome to come on and speak your opposing view. Very few people, no one's actually ever done it, and you're more than welcome to do it. So anytime you hear anything in a program that you think you disagree with and you want to come on to the next one, all you got to do is message me on Messenger and tell me what it was and why you didn't agree with it, and boom, you'll be in the be on the next broadcast. Tuesday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Thursday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes we go a little later. Sometimes we go a little earlier. And that's all I'm doing. So live well, live prosper, have a great life. And we will see you on the next Boogie with the Bull Thursday Night Live.